We can try if you like. Put on. I'm going live. Hello, everyone.
Mhm.
Welcome. This is Abdullah Sameer. Thank you for joining us today. I'm joined by Salman Khan. How's it going, Salman?
I'm good.
Good, good, good.
I'm good. How about you?
So, I think you're gonna have to turn off your video. The sound is a little bit cutting out. So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna introduce Salman. Salman, I've known Salman for a few years now. We met online.
Mhm.
And Salman has quite the track record actually. He's involved in human rights campaigns, and he's a blogger and writer, and he's written for Express Tribune in Pakistan, and quite a lot of stuff. So it seems like you have quite a few interests. One of them is climate change, obviously LGBT rights, and we're going to talk about Islam as well, and your journey. So quite a journey you've had, I guess, eh?
Well, yeah, it's a short life, everyone. What I believe is that we all have here to make an impact. So, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's go back to the beginning. So you were raised in Pakistan?
Mhm. Well, actually, no. I have an interesting story. I was born in UAE. I was born
Oh,
in UAE, Abu Dhabi, and I had quite a multicultural kind of an upbringing. And in a society that UAE isn't perfect, right, as compared to Pakistan. Sorry, as compared to any European country or something. But yeah, it was good. It was non-sectarian. My parents were moderate Muslims,
mm-hmm,
and they never taught me to judge anyone on the basis of their country of origin or religion. Like, unfortunately, things have been pushed towards in Pakistan, politically speaking.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened
So,
then? So you were obviously you're gay, and that actually has a big part in how you've been as you grew up in Pakistan, right? Or is it UAE? When did you go to Pakistan?
well, when I was around age 10, just after 9/11, just after nine
Oh.
eleven, I moved to Pakistan, in fact, Karachi. And there, for example, the gay part also came up with a lot of other stuff in life. Like, I was raised in a neighborhood that was, of course, quite ethnically diverse. Karachi is ethnically diverse, and also sectarian diversity is also there,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So for me, I grew up in an environment that had experienced a lot of like terrorism also, because this is, just after 9/11. And throughout Pakistan, there was a period of time for years, and this is during the military dictatorship also, when we had General Musharraf. So during this time, there was a lot of like suicide attacks, and in fact, I can count on fingers just in my neighborhood that would be less than 2-3 miles something, I don't know. But in that neighborhood, I have seen like 10 suicide attacks or something. Even just next door to ours, there was a suicide attack, because
Jeez.
there was this Taliban mosque also that was routinely raided by the secret services. So I grew up in that kind of environment. It shaped my views. It shaped a lot of my lived experience.
Mm-hmm.
That I was able to um, you know think critically of certain things, of
Ah.
how in society there's this inequality, and also how there are different forms of oppression, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is something that impacted me a lot. And I've personally, I don't know, I go on also. For example, for me, it wasn't easy just accepting myself and coming to terms with myself being gay. I was at an early age, when I've just started to have, I was just able to muster some courage to go ahead and explore a bit of my sexuality. I was outed
Oh my God.
by my Yeah, I was outed by my uncle. He was someone who I still call a clean shave Taliban. He used to work in Saudi Arabia. I don't know where he is now. I've mostly distanced myself from my extended family. So yeah, so he outed me, and then I was in fact told at home, and in fact to my mother, that
Okay.
oh, he's like into meeting gay boys and men and everything, and he's doing stuff and everything. My mother is like, she's sweet, she's love. Mothers are like that. I don't know about many other mothers, but my mother, she's always been like
I
brushing
I
all the.
I'd say normal mothers are like that. But I feel like sometimes the ideology or tribalism or whatever, allegiance to the religion can actually override that sometimes, right? And
Well,
cause
it depends. It depends. So in my case, of course, she's a housewife, and she just heard the call and everything, and then she pretty much didn't react it. That's the best part, and that's the thing. But at the same time, I was in so much fear. Just imagine, I'm like 19 something, and I was in so much fear. I was like, oh shit, I would be kicked out. I would be worst, killed or something. This guy who lives in Saudi Arabia hardly talks to me, came to Pakistan on a family visit, and then went into my mobile and
what?
yeah, he went into my mobile and read my message, all the text messages that I had. So that's kind of, this is unfortunately our South Asian, I don't know, it's South Asian, or kind of like our
Yeah,
our family dynamics also, like everyone to everyone else's business, right?
yeah,
So and that is changing, but it's not easy. It's not easy. So the process itself, for example, for years I always had this thought of like getting out
yeah.
of Pakistan, to live my life freely. But at the same time, I was also like, I didn't want to do. I was never religious in a way, but I
Hmm.
was exploring. I was exploring religion, um, um, religious teachings, comparative study of religion. I've
Yeah,
done that on my own. It's not rocket science to go ahead and learn
I,
more. And for me, for example, I'm sorry.
yeah. So you got cut off. You said it's not rocket science too.
It's not rocket science to kind of go ahead and research on your
Oh yeah,
own,
yeah, yeah.
about religions, about history. For
Mm-hmm.
me, I've always been kind of a biology nerd. So evolution, the science of evolution, species distribution, and many of these things. For example, if you're a student of nature, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and absolutely leads you to disbelief. So for me, it was always, in coming to terms also, it was easy, because for me it was natural, like being gay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
You said interestingly in one of your posts that God, for you, God is nature. How, like, what do you mean by that?
but for me, for example, my I do classify myself as spiritual, in terms of like, I do I don't believe in like um, a supernatural entity,
Okay.
but I do believe in the spiritual aspect of like connection with and to an extent of like reverence to nature.
Right.
It's more, it's somewhat pantheistic, but
Uh,
at the same time, I would say it would go down into spiritual naturalism,
you're cutting out again.
that
Sorry.
has yes. I'm
You
sorry.
repeat yourself.
Can
You
you
repeat
hear me?
yourself again. Sorry.
Yeah, it's spiritual naturalism. It's an idea. It's more of an idea.
Uh-huh.
It's not like a cult or something, but it's more like how there is no spiritual
Supernatural.
supernatural, but at the
Yeah.
same time,
Uh,
yeah,
you're cutting out again. So you were saying there's
yeah, the
no
law govern the universe.
there's no supernatural. There's only say that one more time.
There's there is a disbelief that
Okay.
soul,
Yeah.
but at the same time, the laws of nature and govern the universe. Scientific method are able to come to a lot of conclusion about how our world functions and
Right.
life has evolved and many of such aspects of so those were the things that have influenced me a lot. And so for
Okay.
me, religion never played an important role in terms of defining myself.
Hmm.
And that's because I've not only studied Islam, for example. I studied Christianity also, its history, its um, its cultural influences, politics, also somewhat influenced by dharmic
Hmm.
religions, because I've always had this connection to India in a weird way, because my ancestors came from India.
Yeah.
My origin, my nationality is Pakistani, but my ancestors actually came from India way back when partition happened. So growing
Yeah.
up in Karachi, especially because it's so tribal and the politics. There's a level of ethnic politics also that was very bloody
Yeah.
actually in the past, very bloody. So for me, for example, I was always told I was a Mahajer, that
A migrant.
my
Muhajir means like migrant, does it?
ancestors came from India. So like the Mahajirin in Quran that we
Yeah,
read.
yeah, yeah. So you've always seen your family saw themselves as immigrants, is it?
Well, family, pretty much not. I would say our community still we have a distinctive culture as
Okay.
compared to rest of Pakistan.
Yeah.
And why I would say that is that religion plays an important cultural role, but
Yeah.
it's not taken to an extreme like we would be going ahead and you know labeling certain minorities as untouchable, like
Oh, yeah.
unfortunately this is not, I'm like generalizing all Pakistanis are right like that, but we see that certain aspects of indoctrination, right, the religious extremist thought have been planted in the society in such a way that people are they have quite near fascist
Yeah.
views when it comes to minorities. And it's crazy like how blasphemy law is taken way how blasphemy law is viewed in Pakistan. it's
Yeah.
it's not it's as compared to the rest of the Muslim world. And even that we can go ahead and if there is a Muslim world. But yeah, blasphemy is taken way
So
serious. There are mob justices and stuff like that. It's scary. Yeah.
have you felt so one thing you said that was very interesting was how you saw a lot of the violence growing up, the suicide bombing and stuff like that. And to you, that made you have doubts. Is that what you're saying? Like it made you feel like, oh my God, something is wrong here. This can't be normal. Is that how you felt? Like, because you're seeing what innocent people being killed, Shias, maybe. Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And
I
how
would
it,
say it.
go ahead.
Yeah, I would say that it influenced me in a way that I questioned religion and
Oh, you're cutting out
the
again.
oppressive
Okay.
you know,
Apologies, everyone. So someone's internet connection is a little
politics.
bit bad because of shared networking. He's sharing right now with some other people. Salman, could you repeat yourself again? Sorry about that. You got cut
Yeah,
off. Yeah.
where did I left last time?
Um, we're talking about how you noticed about the bad. I was mentioning about how the suicide bombing and attacks towards minorities, how that made you reflect on religion in general and made you doubt or become skeptical. Because a lot of people here in the West wouldn't never see that. Muslims here, we don't. I mean, we see those things and we're like, as a Muslim, when I was a Muslim, I was like, oh, that has nothing to do with Islam. Now, of course, I'm more open-minded and I can see the connection. But at that time, I would think those are not true Muslims or something like that. Like, how did that affect you? Like you were saying, this made you skeptical?
Oh, of course, it made me question whatever goes around like in life, right? It made me question stuff, and you can say, of course, I grew more skeptical. You're able to hear me, right?
Yep, perfect.
Oh,
If
perfect.
I don't,
So,
yeah.
so I was able to question not only religion, many different aspects of how our society works, and they still do. In a lot of ways, for example, religion. I am quite critical also when it comes to the religiosity, or the religious extreme, is because being gay also one of the things that is also that's always pushed towards us is that, oh, it's not accepted
Yeah,
in Islam.
homosexuality, yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah. It's and you cannot challenge that, because
Yeah.
the fear that exists, it's insane. Because let me tell you a little bit about Pakistan. Also, it's a country of 220 million people. Just imagine 220 million people, and they aren't many, or in fact, any openly gay activists and journalists, even.
Hmm.
That is a fear that exists in the society.
Yeah.
Those who are never, they don't come out of the closet. The coming out of the closet is also a very Western thing.
Yeah.
And in the West, for example, what we see gay rights and the LGBT movement progress is because of the separation of church and state. If there was no separation of church and state, these rights would have not come forth. So
Mhm.
that is the thing. In our cultures, in Pakistan and the rest of the world, um, what people are generally politically, they have been this view has been imposed on them, is that, oh, religion and state are inseparable. So it makes our lives harder. So that is one of the reasons why I see organized religion, and in terms of religious orthodoxy, not personal religion or reform in religion, but in terms of like how religion is used by state, by the mullahs, the religious clerics.
So normally they call that Islamism, right? Is that what you're referring
Of
to?
course, of
Yeah.
course, of course. Political Islam,
Yeah.
Islamism is something that I've always been critical of, and through my work and generally, um,
But why do
yeah.
you say you're not against religion in general? Like, for example, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, all of those, they have made your existence, not your existence, but a big part of your existence sinful. If you go to Islam in general, even if, the apostasy laws are not implemented or the blasphemy laws, I mean, still the idea that it's wrong to leave Islam, it's wrong to be gay, even though you never had a choice. You sort of, to be honest, you don't have a choice about being an apostate either, because either you believe or you disbelieve. And if once you don't believe, you don't believe. It's like you can't make yourself believe, right? So like both of those things, you technically don't have a choice. Why do you still give Muslims the right to, believe in the religion? Why do you still think that it's okay?
Um, that's an interesting question. Well, for me, for example, I always say that I never left Islam. I never left even Pakistan. I was forced to, leave
Mm-hmm.
my religion and
Okay.
Pakistan.
Yeah.
Yes, I was somewhat religious growing up. For example, even I remember way back, I was scrolling. I don't know. One of my early posts was that Facebook banned Facebook or something way back. I don't know when in 2009 or something. So that is the extreme of like me having this view of you know of believing in not only the finality of prophet, for example, but him being equal to some Jesus or something. But that's a level of religious spirituality also that some people, well, many Pakistanis are forced to go ahead with and believe in. For me, for example, I still think that it's the world is not going to turn atheist, or like
Yeah.
they won't be leaving religion
Yeah.
just tomorrow.
Yeah.
So reform of religion is important. It's
Yeah.
extremely important, especially Islam, because as compared to other Abrahamic religions, you see a lot like Judaism has a lot of reformist historically, a lot of reformist movements. Christianity also
Hmm.
had them,
Yeah.
and still do. In Islam, for example, it's what is the rigidity of the beliefs is in is and the orthodoxy, the power, the political power that they yelled. It's at a level that, for example, for us who even are challenging the set notions in place, it's quite hard. And for example, for me, I am critical about all organized religions when it comes to dogmatism that they have. And even from a very scientific level also, of course, I reject it. Evolution is enough, and many other aspects of scientific research are enough for us to really view this world in a very different way, and compared to the whole creation and the views that are imposed on us.
Hmm.
But at the same time, there are people who do continue and will remain attached to religion,
Yeah.
because human society, since the beginning of time, is uh, has evolved around myths, and
Yeah.
these are myths that would be in place and will remain in place. But then again, it's about coexistence, and it's about, even because, for example, for us, we are not tolerated at all, right?
Yeah.
And you are existing in the West, and you're doing an amazing work, but you would not exist in Saudi Arabia, you would not exist in Iran, you would not even exist in Pakistan.
Yeah.
And because the societies there have been pushed towards this extreme radical Islamism, or the political ideology of how religion should be, that people are scared to even question.
Yeah.
And that's not how I see, for example, where I'm from, Pakistan even can progress in any way. And it's that's how we're seeing, like, students, for example.
Yeah.
There was
So
this brilliant.
can I want to say something.
Yeah.
So I find it amazing how, you are, I'd say, one of the best examples of how you can be oppressed under Islamic theocracy and Islam in general, Islamic belief. Islamic belief
Mm,
oppressed you, caused you a lot of
mm,
pain in your life, and nothing to do with anything you chose. It was just because of you being born in this country and in this religion. Yet you still have the morals and the ethics to say that, hey, it's your religion, you know, feel free to believe in that. Just don't oppress me, which is amazing because if you look at the
yeah.
other side saying, unfortunately, is saying that, gays should be killed, apostates should be killed, gay apostates should be extra killed because you're gay and an apostate. It's like, you have this one side that doesn't even want us to exist, yet we, on the other hand, is saying, hey, you guys have your rights as well, and we have other rights, and it just shows you like which is a better system, which is a more moral system, right?
Of course, of course, of course. And of course, and I think it's we are viewed negatively also as being skeptics, humanists, atheists, agnostics, whatever name you might call us, or we are, anti-religion and we're
Yeah,
against Islam.
whatever. You
I'm
cut out.
sorry.
I was just saying, and also free thinkers as
No.
well. Before we get to
Yes.
that, I wanted to make a quick announcement, and I didn't tell Salman about this, but all super chats that come today are going to be donated to Salman. He's a wonderful young man who's doing a lot of good work, and he's had to basically move from Pakistan to a new country and resettle himself and build his credit and get a job, and all of these things has to be started from scratch. And like he said, I never wanted to leave Pakistan. Pakistan wanted me to leave. I never wanted to leave Islam wanted to kick me out, right? So I didn't tell him ahead of time, Salman, but just to let you know that any super chats I get today will be going to you. And let's just discuss one of them because it just came up. Anand said, to me, a religion that does not allow reform should not be followed at all. It shows arrogance and intransigence. I find the left hypocritical on that. What do you say to that?
Well, I do identify myself with the left. That is why you would see me also that I've different view on the political issues.
Yeah.
And it's freedom of speech. I believe it's freedom of expression of
Yeah.
Ex-Muslims, us, we have diverse political views. So for me, for example, I am critical to some extent of how Western left functions, or left in the West functions. For example, the whole idea of cultural relativism, that certain cultures are best to be viewed from their own perspective, and that's the thing. This is not our perspective. There's this Wahhabism, this extremist rhetoric. Because why I say that I still think that Muslims, for example, have a right to practice their beliefs, because Islam itself is has always been up for interpretation. For example, in South Asia, what I emphasize always also, it's for South Asia, we have always had a very different Sufistic interpretation of Islam that was a mix of our indigenous history and culture, and there have been Sufi poets, for example, that challenged the religious right, the religious orthodoxy. For example, Bulleh Shah. But in today's Pakistan, I would say he would be killed.
Yeah. And Taliban
Similarly,
actually killed some of the one of the Qawwali singers, right?
yeah, that's quite extreme also. And then again, the Taliban itself, they don't represent all of Pakistan. They represent a certain I'm not generalizing, but a certain part of Pakistan and Afghanistan that unfortunately, for political gains by international and regional powers, have been influenced with a lot of radical, Islamic thought. So it's too much of religion. It's what is the problem here, and ultimately speaking, because for example, this is it's what I say is like cancer. It is chemo. And it would take time, but that is the thing that we need to challenge, the um, the kind of rhetoric that exists.
Yeah. And I was gonna
So for
say, just based on the
example,
comments, sorry to interrupt you. There's a little bit of a lag. Anand, the religion, when you say the religion doesn't allow reform, I don't know if that makes any sense, because like it's not the religion that allows or doesn't allow reform, it's people's interpretation of it that changes over time. And that's what reform is. Reform is, in my opinion, it's people's interpretation and practice of religion that is, over time being changed, it's being neutered. For example, rather than having apostasy law or blasphemy law, those things go off the books completely. Some people will say that's not reform. Some people will say, well, that's just the laws are changing. I personally think that's a good example of reform. When people say that, Islam allows child marriage, nowadays they don't say that anymore. Now they say, well, Aisha was 18. So to me, that's reform, because now they're saying, well, that was only for that time. Now we can't do that. And that's reform. The mullahs that are saying, no, you cannot make haram child marriage because Aisha was 9. That's not reform. The scholars today that are saying Aisha was 18, or even if they don't say Aisha was 18, if they say that was specific for her time, their time, and Muhammad did it, doesn't mean we will do it, because at that time, they matured quicker, their lives were they come up with all sorts of excuses. So someone like me that's an ex-Muslim, I'm just like, this is all nonsense, and it should never have been allowed back then. And yes, I understand there's some sort of, there is some sort of difference there is a huge difference between 1400 years ago and today. So we can look at it in that context as something else, but in today's context, obviously it's completely impermissible. I find the excuses silly, because I think a lot of them really have to twist the religion. Just like, the excuse about the people of Lot, you must have heard it 100 times now, that they say that the men that came, they were not gays, they were rapists. Have you heard this excuse before about reinterpreting the people of Lot in a progressive light? Salman? Hello. Okay, while I'm waiting for Salman, because I think his sound is not working. Ganga Din, your reforms.
Yeah, I'm
sorry. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Point, sorry.
Okay, go ahead now. I can hear you again. You want to respond?
No. I'm listening to you.
Okay, I was just and Ganga Dean was saying the reforms are not as long as they're not codified, it's not reform, just tolerated. No, but they are being actually codified in a sense. Like, for example, like I've said, there's a movement of people that are actually allowing a lot of things that were never allowed before. Now, I think, unfortunately, like gay marriage, or even tolerating, even if you look at, for example, what people are like, some movements in the West, especially, and maybe this is all Western. This is what I've seen as what I used to be a Western Muslim. And for example, Sheikh Hamza Yusuf has actually talked about how we don't want apostasy laws to come back. We don't want any sort of hudud punishment to go back. He also wrote, I think, an article, or made this thing where he said that, gays, he said they should actually just be celibate, but it's their choice, basically, right? He said that. So these are actually scholars who are saying that, we don't need to worry about Islamic law anymore. And this is, again, going back to the whole difference between Islamism and private practice of Islam. To these scholars living in the West, they're not interested in Islamic law in terms of like hudud punishment. They're just interested in private practice of Islam. So praying 5 times a day, and fasting and all of that stuff. They're not interested in going into Islamism. There's movements like Hizb ut-Tahrir, which is an Islamist movement, Muslim Brotherhood. These guys, they want to bring Islamic law back, whether to the government system, or for example, even worse than that would be ISIS. That's an extreme example of someone of Islamism, people that want to bring Islamic law back. But there is, in my opinion, as someone that was part of the Muslim community, I am seeing reform happening in front of our very eyes. There's always going to be fundamentalism. But like, even with the Christian community, there's always fundamentalism, right? You have the Westboro Baptist Church, where we'll go to funerals, and they'll protest at the funerals, and they'll say God hates fags. And I mean, there's people like that to this day in the Christian community. So it never goes away. But the fact is, overall, these things do change over time, and that's all I have to say. Salman, you want to add anything to that?
Well, that is the thing also for me, for example, how I have viewed the history of this. Itself also, for example, all of Baghdad happened, and how...
Oh, you
again. Can you hear me?
That's how you viewed the history of Islam?
Well, the history of Islam. Uh,
Oh, you're cutting out again. Sorry, could you repeat that one more time? Let's try once
sorry,
more. Let's try again.
having bad.
Yeah, it's got a little bit worse, and it was kind of okay in the beginning. It's got a little bit bad now, the sound. But let's give it another try. Let's try to give it again.
Yeah, yeah. It's. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Even when it comes to like learning the history of science.
No, it didn't come through. It got cut off again.
Yeah, it's
One more
not.
time. One more time. Last time.
Yeah, I think it's. Oh, I'm like, okay. So, is it better now? It is. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
Yeah. So, for me, for example, the religion, it's been quite tumultuous. For example, that we once had this golden age, which I do consider it's somewhat of an Arab golden age, though it's not exactly, Muslims are, a monolith of a group. But that time, for example, when we saw a lot of Persian and Arabic, I don't even imagine it today. And in Pakistan's creation, for example, what we see is that there have been forces by it also that have decimated those forces that might have brought on change when it comes to when it comes to the being less influenced by people who hold Islamic fundamentalist view, or like who view all the problems in the society and blame it on the minorities, or and come up with solutions that, are um would pose certain things are the best. Can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah. It's mostly okay. Go ahead. Yep. I'm listening.
Yeah. So in a lot of ways, this it's I consider it's really always up for interpretation, right? Because we must also not community, and that that is that up.
Okay, so I feel like the sound quality is gone. I don't know if I think we're gonna have to resume this chat at another time. Unfortunately, the quality is there,
Uh,
unless there's something you can do on your end. I don't know if there's anything you can do. Is there any way you can turn off my video? Let me turn off my video. Let me turn off my video and see if that helps. Hold on one second. Okay, let's try this. We're gonna turn up my video's off now. Maybe that'll make the quality better. Let's give it one more chance. So do you wanna say what you just said again? Salman? Let's give it one more chance without my video now. So hopefully it's a little bit better, the quality. Are you here? It looks like there's technical issues on Salman's side. We're going to give him a minute to see if he can come back. Um, testing, testing. Salman, are you here? Okay, I can't hear you anymore. Okay, it looks like he dropped off. So while I'm waiting for Salman to come back, we can just go through some of the questions. And Anand has a question, and he has a question for Salman. So I will wait for him to come back, and hopefully the quality will be better so we can hear what he has to say. To me, this is a great example of, a really great man that is coming here and is, pouring his heart out Like I said, he's had to move countries and stuff. So appreciate all the super chats. Salman, are you here? Oh,
Hello.
okay, yes. Okay, I'm just gonna turn off my video to see if that helps. We have a question for you. Another super chat. Back to the guest. What is the LGBT community like in Karachi? Do they have any source of NGO support?
First of all, we have to understand that, since the past few years, in fact, since 2018, can you hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah. If I can't hear you, I'll
Okay.
interrupt you. So keep going. Yep.
Perfect. So NGOs have been under a lot of government scrutiny because they're viewed as bringing in foreign money, and there've been a lot of questioning over the transparency of the money coming in, because one of the person that actually informed the world, and who's imprisoned, um, I believe his name is Javed Afridi, was an NGO worker, right? About the whereabouts of Osama bin Laden.
Oh
So,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
so yeah, so NGOs are viewed, and very and evolved. There are no LGBT organizations that are working on HIV, health, right? LGBT NGOs in Pakistan registered, because that's not allowed.
Okay.
It's an unwritten kind of like, but it's strictly enforced government, from the government, and we see Pakistan, because why I'm critical of the state also, because Pakistan on an international level also backs a lot of homophobic laws, for example at the UN, and it has not done this for like,
Yeah.
and that's all it has been the history.
History of
and
Pakistan. Yeah.
and this is a way that how we see that the LGBT movement, we don't have even a movement,
Oh yeah.
we don't even have activists who can question the Article 370, which is the colonial law that India decriminalizes it. And that's what I see, that there's a difference also. Well, we are culturally, South Asian, but politically speaking, we have been put this extreme right that I say. We
Yeah.
don't even have a left. That's this. At least
Wow.
the West has a left.
Yeah.
We don't even have a political left.
Oh yeah.
Most of our left activists, and I've engaged with the left also in Pakistan. They've been very much and community.
You were saying there's no left in Pakistan, and you've engaged the left. And what did you say after that?
Hello. Yeah. Hello.
Yep. Someone. You were saying you engaged the left, and then you were saying there's no left in Pakistan. And then what did you say after that?
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. I guess we still have bad connection problems. Okay. So unfortunately, it feels
So
like we're still having.
yeah, I'm sorry about that.
We're gonna have to fix your internet for the next one. Let's end it here. We'll end it a little bit early because the connection seems like it's
Yeah.
behaving itself.
Really
Uh,
bad.
do you wanna add some
Hello.
final comments? Just then we'll resume this. We'll do another one next time with hopefully better connection. Is there anything else you want to add just before we go?
Hello.
Yes, we're gonna have to end it early because the internet has gone really bad now. Do you wanna add any final comments, and then we'll do this another time because unfortunately you're not able to hear me and I'm not able to hear you. Salman? Salman, where are you? Where did you go?
Hello.
Yes. Hello. Where did you go? Yeah.
Yeah.
Your internet connection has gone bye-bye. So, do you want to add any final comments? And then yeah, that's a good idea, Anand. Thank you. That's a really great idea. Having like basically a list of questions and then recorded video with replies. It won't be as interesting, I guess, because it's not going to be like free flowing and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good idea actually, and hopefully things will get better. Like you can get once you get your own place and all that. Obviously, right now you're just still settling down, and so that it is what it is.
Absolutely.
Do you want to add some final comments and then? Okay, now it's working. So yeah, let's add some final comments just to end it off.
Having that thing back home, people won't even public sessions or online even YouTube podcasts or something about us because we are the unspoken people, right? We are the forbidden. Yeah, I'm thankful for you guys of of you going through and having me over. And sorry about the internet. It's like me.
It's okay. I mean,
I'm embarrassed.
we got to quite a bit, and then
yeah,
it was going until the end. Now I think I don't know what happened, but it is how it is what it is, and I guess that's how it is. Sometimes it just gets bad. So we'll do another one at some point. And thank you for coming on, everyone. Do check out Salman's social media profiles. I've linked them in the description. And thank you, Anand, for the donations as well. I'll pass them over to him. And everyone else, thanks for joining. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. And if you can also afford it, you can join the channel, and that actually is a vote of confidence to YouTube to keep the channel going. YouTube sees donations and they say, oh, look, this channel is making some money, and it's less likely that they'll shut us down. As little as $2 a month is what you can do to show your vote of support. And thank you, Salman. Let's do this again. We'll find a way to get you a better internet connection so we can actually have a really good conversation. It was very interesting what you were saying.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's inconsistent. It's good for 1 minute and then suddenly it goes bad. So yeah, I do appreciate you coming. Thank you so much. And again, yeah. Okay, no problem. Okay, everyone, that's a wrap, and hopefully we'll do this again with better internet. Thank you.
Yeah. Absolutely. Have a nice day. Bye.